Patreon members.
I'm not
deserve
asking
things.
you. You didn't say anything off color. I'm asking Mike and Alex.
You're asking the asshats of the group.
Technically, based on last episode, you might be the ass face of the group. Your ass was,
dude.
Your face was pretty close to Halakarn's ass.
I'm never washing my nose again. So... Hey, you know
in
what?
the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war and apparently shit on Mordecai's face. Welcome to Death Sun's Company's production of Imperium Maledictum, the Tainted Hive Season 2, Children of Rokarth. We are here to play some Warhammer, but first, we'd like to say thank you so much to our show sponsor for this show. That would be PrimetimeMagic.com. Head on over to their website to check out their list of Magic singles that are available for purchase. We appreciate them supporting the show, just like we appreciate all of you. So again, PrimetimeMagic.com. Go check them out. Magic singles. Great guys. Great support. We very much appreciate it. On that note, welcome back to the Tainted Hive Season 2, Children of Rokarth, and Mordecai's brown nose.
I just want to point out, I did not choose Lickspittle. It chose me.
It's very true.
And it is up to me to embrace that for the sake of my character.
Embraced it fully.
I'm gonna say this. I said when you rolled that up, I said it was the worst thing you could have gotten, and I am eating every ounce of corpse paste because it is very. You're making it work. All right, guys. Well, welcome back. Couple of housekeeping pieces really quick. This is episode 2 of Children of Rokarth. You can find our episodes on our website, our Patreon, and on multiple different podcasting platforms, Spotify, YouTube, etc. If you haven't figured that out by yet, I don't know how you're here, but if you need to figure that out, go look. Other housekeeping items. There are none. This is episode 2. Let's have some fun. So, last time on the Tainted Hive, you all made your way back to the ship after having completed your mission on Rokarth. You watched as Quinton was wheeled away back to the Mordecai ward. The actual unit of Mordecai officers walking him back armed with 4 guards who escorted them and did not allow you all access to that wing. Thinking that a bit strange, you did what anyone should do, and you went and debriefed the Inquisitor that you serve. And being completely transparent with him and sharing all of the details of your mission, he awarded you 500 solars, access to a flamer for Dmitry, and Mordecai, you gained a fate point for outstanding and exceedingly good service to Halakarn, and in his case, therethrough, the God Emperor.
Was my gift I get to stay alive?
Your gift was you got to stay alive.
Crappy gift.
Quinton's gift was he got tortured and retested for psychic corruption. Which, now that I look back on that is really fucked up, but it's also very Warhammer. That, like, this psyker shows up and is just like, yeah, fuck you, let's make sure you're not a witch.
Well, welcome to Warhammer.
Welcome to Warhammer, where the odds are never
Thank
fair.
you for your service.
Halakarn really supports the troops.
I mean, there was that one tentacle.
It's true.
So as that all happened, you also were introduced to the captain of the Lamenting Tears of Terra, one Sigmarius Ardosha, a very large
my boy
man.
Sigmarius.
Good old Siggy. Large person, bound to a floating, hovering throne from where he runs the entire ship. You
One
also
of those
met
fatties from Wally.
Wow.
You know, damn.
Wow. I wonder what happens if you tip him over.
So,
let's find out.
Oh my god!
It's not cow tipping in this universe; it's captain tipping.
Dude, Brad, what are you gonna do about it when we commandeer this ship? What are you gonna do?
You can certainly try. I will say, though, I never thought of that. So the description of a novice imperialis or imperial navy captain, I fully admit, in standard Brad fashion, I 100% ripped it off from Dan Abnett. In his very first Gaunt's Ghost novel, First and Only, there's an opening chapter where he talks about a strike cruiser and the captain fighting against chaos warships, and it talks about how captains are absolutely massive people because they don't leave their void chair. They just float around and dictate the ship.
There you go,
there's
Brad.
no physical activity.
You wanted your Dune Warhammer link? There you go.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. The Baron. Yep. There it is. The Baron. Yep. So,
Truth.
And now I can't unsee Captain Tipping from Wally. Anyway, You also met the Seneschal Corvus Malicent, who, while he serves Halicarn, is also the Seneschal to the captain himself. Now, for those of you who don't know, a Seneschal is like the master of the ship. He takes the captain's will and makes it manifest. His job is to run everyone else. If you've played the Rogue Trader CRPG, one of your main characters that you pick up in your party is your Seneschal. Quinton, I see you laughing. Very accurate.
Yeah, I was like, you ripped that. You got
Again,
right
ripped
there.
it off from Dan Abnett, Owlcat Games. It's standard fare. I just rip things off from people. I will fully admit it. And we closed off with you all having spent a month on ship. On day 31, Mordecai, your long-term injury lapsed. You all completed some endeavors. Roderick, you went and attempted to establish growth amongst your contacts, the Scarred Hands. It didn't go as you hoped. Mordecai, you made a move of piety and did some prayer to get a temporary fate point for this campaign. And Dmitry, you went and plied your trade to make 600 solars for your group or yourself down in the lower docks. Now, as we open on today, it has been 31 days that you've been on ship. You've grown accustomed to the sounds, the smells, the faint, constant reek of body odor and sweat that permeates your apartment on the deck. The actually decent food now that you're not being fed corpse-based because Halicarn realizes you're actually worth his time. And as we sit there today, you all awaken. You make your way out into the living space of your living quarters. And from here, you would normally head down to the mess to grab some form of breakfast. But today, of all days, you're all surprised. Roderick, what does Roderick look like when he rolls out of bed and heads into living quarters? Do you take the time to compose yourself, or are you a mess?
I am naturally beautiful, of course.
Sure.
I roll out of bed.
It's all product.
My head a little mussed, but I straighten it out in the mirror, kind of brush it off, give it a wrinkle if it's too straightened, and I swagger out, as it were.
Okay. Mordecai.
Yeah.
As you roll out of bed, a feral world inhabitant upon a ship. What do you look
Beautiful, lustrous, long blue hair that I use my handcrafted whalebone comb to straighten out to straighten out and make it nice. And then I practice in the corner, pulling up my cloak, kind of like JP in the corner, making sure nobody can see me. And then just practicing my disappearance. I look pretty damn beautiful, man. I take it serious.
Why am I getting
got
Nick Cage Con Air vibes with the hair?
No.
Maybe.
Wow. Now I'm from. You know what? I'm not gonna go there. I see what you tried. I see what you tried to set up for me. And
No. I just
No.
explain that. All I see is the GIF of Nick Cage looking into the wind as his hair flows behind him.
That's entrapment.
Yeah. Sure. That's what we're doing. No, but I got beautiful eyeliner on. I got some lipstick. I'm ready to go kiss some ass.
All right. You're ready to go steal the Declaration of Rokarth's independence? Quinton, what do you look like when you roll out of bed?
This, as per usual with this thing, it's a 50-50 chance if he's remembered to even put his robe back on, so he might be walking onto the main room naked. And this day, it is one of those days he's butt naked. Doesn't even notice if people are paying attention to him. If or Roderick sees Quinoa sitting there naked, he's going to walk up to him, just look him up and down and go, nice. Just keep walking.
And Dmitry, last but not least.
So you know how your hands look when you try and clean your hands after working on an engine and you clean them with gas and there's that oily, still dirty? Yeah, that's what I look like.
Oh.
Maybe just with a little more promethium smears than normal.
And is instead of like soot and oil, is it like blood under the gasoline on the promethium or no?
Could be, sure.
Okay.
All
right.
He's disgusting.
Dmitry is the one you absolutely want to be handling your food. Food safety is a priority in Warhammer 40,000.
Or your innards.
Or your innards. So as the four of you walk out, Quinton being completely derobed, Roderick.
No, having Roderick made a comment, he would notice. Oh, I suppose I should get a robe.
Oh, there's something that happens before this. So as you're all kind of walking out of your doors, strangely, almost simultaneously, Roderick looking at Quinton going, nice.
Oh, it's the door to the center. I thought you were talking about like the door to the hallway.
Oh, no, into your center apartment. So as that all happens, you notice sitting in the couch of the center of your living quarters is the Seneschal, Corvus Malicent. He looks up as Quinton as you walk out naked and goes, Master Zariel, you might.
He doesn't respond and just comes sits down next to him like, what?
As you sit down, he gets a little flustered. Roderick walks out and goes, nice.
And then he looks down. It's like, one's a minute. He gets up nonchalantly, just no shame, walks back and gets his robe.
See, Mordecai gave me Nick Cage and Con Air. You have now given me Paul Bettany in A Knight's Tale.
It's fitting.
So
love this.
The four of you this is the most disastrous group ever. It's great. The four of you made your way into the living quarters, and you notice that, again, Corvus Malicent is sitting there, and he looks to each of you and he says, well, it appears we have need for you. Not on planet for once, but on ship. There's a few items I need you to look into for us. When you get a second, after you've eaten today, and by that I mean after you eat today or before you eat today, your call, you hear the inflection that says your breakfast is pretty much kaput at this point. I need you to go meet with Lexmechanic Luceen-4 down in the data vaults. He's told us that there's a Cogitator that's randomly failing. It gives concern to the captain. He can't seem to pull some of the data of historic engine usage, and our worries of promethium and warp fuel are fairly high. After you do that, go up to the batteries, macro cannons, find Captain Frederick. He's reporting issues with a round of munitions. Portside battery should do. I believe that's where he's having the issue. Once you find out about those two things, come back to the bridge, report to me.
What was the first dude's name?
First guy is Lexmechanic Luceen, Luceen-4. You immediately recognize that it's probably a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus by that name.
Dude, so literally got
what
a
did he
number
need
in his
help
name.
with again?
He has a Cogitator failing.
That's right.
Which the captain is saying is preventing him from accessing historic fuel usage.
And then the second guy is Captain Frederick with the portside battery is having an issue, right?
Captain Frederick with the gunnery deck on the portside battery.
All right. Right away, Seneschal.
He looks to each of you, he says, good. And points directly at Quinton. Better. Walks out the door.
I'm immediately turning to Roderick. You're familiar with ships. Doesn't it seem weird we be sending on these meaningless errands?
What, you worried about an easy day's work? Come on.
Roderick, give me a logic test.
Asking the wrong guy, but okay. 91 over 26.
Your answer's perfect.
Hey, Roderick. Something to square up first before we start our day. I noticed I still haven't gotten my gold from you.
All about those solars.
What on earth would I be trading gold with anybody
gold.
for?
Excuse me, solos. Wrong.
Oh, you coming to the bank of Roderick Wrangler, are you?
No, I
What
know
else
that
is
you
new?
did supply me with a firebomb for 10 solos. Happy to pay you back. Was there anything else? Maybe 6 for the ride up the elevator? I'd say give me 100 of those solos and we should be square, so I don't have to ask you to help me get, an elevator ride.
You know what, Mordecai? I like you, so here's 125. I wasn't going to keep it from you, mate. Come on. We're friends, you and I. Just remember, Roderick Wrangler is looking out for you.
As am I for you, friend. And I kind of just put it in my little bag and that'll do.
I also pass 125 to Quinoa and Dmitry. if they're amenable.
One takes the 100, and then the 25, he's going
Thank
to
you.
look at Mordecai and say, "You seem to have money issues," and throw it, like toss it your way.
I kind of look up at you with like the, but I take it. We don't need much for solos on my world. I'm not used to everything costing so much.
I happen to notice Dmitry looking around. I'm like, oh, looks like you made a good chunk of change.
I completely ignore Roderick talking to me about any sort of change that I was making.
Good. Good to know I'm not the only one with money in my pockets.
So the four
You got
of
one
you,
in your pockets?
Pockets?
he's not wearing a dress.
What do I look
you
like?
can
I'm not
count.
from a feral world.
Yeah, I'm wearing dress robes made by Lululemon.
That's your problem. Your name brand.
Yeah, that's where all my money went.
So the four of you have options. You can either make your way to a mess hall to try to grab some breakfast, or you can lead off to go to one of the two different locations that you've been asked to go investigate today.
I'll swing through and grab something out of the mess hall. I don't need to stop there and eat. I can just eat on the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go
same.
grab a banana or a finger or something.
Hell yeah.
A finger. Okay. Yeah.
Make corpse paste out of it and a mortar and pestle on the way.
Find it.
Hell yeah.
Use the finger to mash the banana.
Bone meal.
Use it as
Yeah.
a spoon.
Dude, you got it. I'm in.
Banana on a finger, on a stick. Just
The
A
finger
frozen
is the
banana on a
the
finger.
finger is the stick. Exactly.
Dimitri, what are
Anyway.
you trying to say that's not involving fingers and bananas?
No, I was just going to ask the group if we had a preference of which one we hit first.
No
I don't.
preference.
I think we should. My intuition says just do it in the order he said. Go to
Your
Lexmechanic
intuition
first.
is correct. If a Seneschal gives you orders in the order, that's the order he meant them, mate.
Yes.
Okay. So the
I
four of
haven't
you
had my
make your way.
breakfast yet. Excuse me.
That gets rectified fairly quickly. The four of you make your way out of your living quarters along the decks until you make your way to the mess hall. It takes about 20 minutes to get to the mess hall from where you are quartered.
As along the way, I want to cast telepathic link on us,
Okay.
just in case we're out on a
Also,
activity
Quinton,
doing things.
really quick, we should have discussed this prior, and I'm just now realizing it. You were spending 15 days after you made it out of the Medicaid Bay testing your psychic powers. Where were you purging?
In my room.
Okay.
Just purge all over the wall.
Just like, give me three non-stressful purgation rolls just to know what happened in your room.
Brad, the question isn't where was he purging. It's where wasn't he purging.
I mean, that's a fair question.
He's in the vents.
First one was 59, distorted reflection.
Okay.
Reflective surfaces in the area distort wherever whatever reflects, showing a twisted, disturbed version of reality.
Okay. Is that the and that's
I'm not sharing a room with this guy,
It's
right?
temp-
We
no,
have
no.
private quarters.
You all have private quarters here. Okay.
right.
Second one is Hoarfrost.
No,
32.
you and Hoarfrost. Okay.
Yep. And the last one is 85. What is 85? Oh, rotten decay. Any perishable goods in the area become stale and unpalatable. Insects and small animals nearby quickly perish.
Okay. So, Quinton, over the course of the 15, 16 days that you tested your powers and purgated every couple days, you made your reflective surfaces look the wrong way. You put a coating of hoarfrost over everything, all of which fades, and you immediately killed anything living within your space. And about 3 days later, the smell made you realize that there was a rat that had been dead under your billet.
I gladly find it and I throw it into Mordecai's room.
Okay. Mordecai, give me an awareness smell test.
Well,
Grumpy old men looking ass.
We're right back to season one.
Reminds
And
me of
What is that
working
smell?
at Pizza Hut when we used to open cans of anchovies and put them under the driver's seats. Just go along and take a notice. I mean, I never did that. Awareness, right?
awareness smell.
Plus smell.
in that case,
you don't
I
have
can just
smell,
use my
just-
regular. Okay,
Correct.
That's a 39 of 51, 2 success levels.
You notice that there's a dead rat in your room within the day.
Yeah, I don't know why it's there, so I guess I just throw it away. Yeah.
You would not know why it was there. We're right back to season 1, where Mordecai was asking if Quinton knew what a real man smells like, and apparently that's dead rat.
I'm going to shit in your pillows.
4 of you. Okay, so
you
Quinton
just started some shit you don't want to do, buddy.
Quinton, you tried it. You're putting the psychic link on. Did you pass?
I got distracted with the purgation
I
stuff.
got distracted with dead rats and poop and
Purgating
pillows.
everywhere.
Yeah, I did.
That purgation was distracting. Sorry.
Someone walked in
Give me
on
a
him.
minute, I'm still purgating.
Knock on the door.
So I rolled a 32.
You have to
of,
disturb me when I'm purgating.
You rolled a 32 over.
was it a 60?
No,
but then
no,
of course it's a hard
quinoa is
test.
perfectly natural.
So it's 32.
Should still be a plus 10.
No, it's a minus 220 for the telepathic link.
Yeah, but you should still have 1 success level. You were plus 3 prior.
Well,
If you rolled a 37 on a 62, that's 3.
32, but it would then so that'd be 24. But then I also have a psi bead, so it's also plus 2.
So plus 2.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Psi
What,
bead?
sir?
It's a item I have. Basically, it gives me a plus 1 on psychic tests.
Where do you keep it, Eric?
Yeah, where's that located? What's
in my
its
belly button.
encumbrance?
Encumbrance is free. It's in his belly button.
Yeah.
He made his innie and outie with his side bead.
Why are we such... children of Rokarth. Yeah. No, we're
It's us.
embracing the role. We're embracing...
So that unfortunately means that I only can do 2 of the party.
Okay.
Myself. So I'll do Roderick and Mordecai.
Okay. I thought you were about to do Roderick and Dmitry in response for the rat.
And just ice him out.
All right, on that note. So, Roderick,
Just give me
Mordecai,
25
Quinton.
solars. Throw a
Mordecai
rat
likes
at
to
me.
go off rogue. He needs the hand holding.
That's fair. Roderick, Mordecai, Quinton, you are all psychically linked. You make your way into the mess hall. Cup of recaf. Very easy to grab some kind of a nutrient bar on the go. The actual mess is like some kind of a oatmeal with sausage and fruit.
Do
or
I
something.
immediately notice Quinton back in my brain? Is there like a do you're connected? But like,
You get the old dial tone of connecting to the internet when we were killed.
no, we're still in dial-up and 40K.
Even the tone is grimdark.
Right.
Actually, you know what it is? It's the old AIM notifications. He gets in your brain. You hear the ding. He leaves your brain. It's a chunk.
Door's closing.
So
Sick.
you all managed to grab a nutrient bar. It looks like a protein bar, and it tastes like cardboard. You all managed to grab a cup of recaf. Eating those on the way. That'll count for your sustenance for the day, so you're okay. You make your way from the mess hall, and if you're going first to the data vaults, you make your way back from the mess hall to one of the lifts, and you rise a couple levels until you are only 2 to 3 levels below the bridge, you think. As you step off, you find yourself on a heavily fortified central deck. And the reason why the data vaults are here is it's as close to the core as it can get, away from anything that is explosive. Engines, fuel, ships, ammunition. As you step off, there are 4 servitors that watch the vaults. And all 4 immediately swing to bear.
I'm immediately casting Psychic Static on myself.
Okay, go for it.
Because Quinton's scared. Oh, they shooting guns at us? What is
I'll explain in just a second.
Okay.
Well, that's a terrible time to roll a crit. I mean, I've got 33. I passed, but it's only 1 warp charge.
Yep.
So it wouldn't have got me anything anyways. Let me figure out the math here. That would have been...
I need an explanation on whether I'm being shot at, because
You'll
Yeah.
know in just you're not being shot at yet.
I don't understand. I know that there's different kinds of servitors, but
I'm gonna give
use-
a
Yeah.
detailed explanation in a second.
That's, I got rolled a 33 over a 60, or under a 60, and so that's going to give me, with the plus 40 in the test and the side focus, plus 8.
Goddamn. All right. Servitors. Let's bring this back to the fore. So servitors are the continued use of a literal brain and corpse pieces of it, etc., to create a servant. Okay, it's also it's almost like they use the brain to create almost like a computer to create semi-robotic autonomous forms. A servitor does not have the ability, outside of very, very, very unique servitors, they do not have the ability at compound thought. They get a task, they do their task. They get very distracted from their task unless it is a simple, narrow, straightforward task. You have things like servo skills. That is a type of servitor. They are servants. They can do projection. They can take data. They can do whatever. You have servitors that serve as door guards or keys to open doors. You can have servitors that do nothing more than literally a walking corpse with a tray of food that walks around parties. That happens. What you see in this situation are what are called gun servitors. It's a torso and a head and big guns. They tend to protect main areas that are important to the Adeptus Mechanicus and or other large bodies of the Imperium or anyone who has a lot of money. Them immediately coming to bear on 4 bodies walking into their zone, not surprising. When you have something that is guarded, they tend to have some kind of tracking. Dmitry, your Astra Militarum, you recognize immediately in how they react and how they turn, they're tracking by thermal signature. You don't even have to test. It's just very obvious.
Okay.
They don't fire. They just track. You hear the drum-fed magazines clicking and whirring as they begin to feed, but the bolters do not fire.
I drop my body temperature to room temperature.
Blue Mountain State Freezy Pop style?
Ew.
Asphalt temperature challenge style.
As the gun servitors turns towards you, the doors... let me rephrase this. As the servitors turn towards you do you continue to walk to the doors? Do you stop? What do you do?
I kind of just say out loud as I continue to walk, here on orders from the Seneschal, just in case they are cognizant. Roderick doesn't know.
Roderick does know.
As Roderick says that, Dmitry says, "Oh shit."
Okay,
and I stop.
Roderick, you have enough of a knowledge of servitors being a member of the Novus Imperialis, and more so than that, being descended from the Novus Nobilitae. You've seen servitors. You know that they sometimes have some ability to cognitively respond.
Even more reason to announce it.
So you announce that. They don't fire. 2 of them continue to track you as you keep walking. The other 2 stay pointed at the other 3. But
I'm walking behind Roderick.
Okay. But as you get closer to the doors,
do they see me?
You know, I said 4 of you, and now I got to remember that you have a +8. Let's find out.
Plus easy plus 40 awareness any test.
Can they even pass this? Oh God. Well,
target is unremarkable.
You know, some things never change.
And he's back, ladies and gentlemen.
No, they don't see you, Quinton, at all.
He's still hiding behind Dmitry.
So, as the 3 of you in their eyes, but the 4 of you walk towards the doors, the door swings open. And stepping out from the data vault, you see as the individual that you're here to see, or you can only assume that it's who you're there to see, Lexmechanic Luceen-4 steps out from the data vaults themselves. Now, the Lexmechanic is obviously a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus. And what a Lexmechanic is it's an important distinction because that is a title of the Mechanicus. So the Lexmechanic itself, it's a very low-ranking tech priest. They are not of high power. They are not of high status. Their job within the Adeptus Mechanicus is to compile and analyze data. They're a data analyst, hands down. The Lexmechanic himself, herself, itself, hard to discern, stands just under 6 foot tall, standard with body appearing to have once been human of some kind. The legs have been entirely replaced by augmetic legs. And in fact, they are almost spider-like with 4 spindles that come out. The torso is an entire cogitator bank with multiple cables that connect and a screen that can fold out. The arms, there are 2 human arms and a 3rd robotic arm that comes up and over the back. And the face is 2 eyes and a grill for a mouth. There is no physical mouth. The grill's wires winding to the back of the skull, all of it covered that you don't see anyway. Red robes trailing on either side with literally no physical torso below essentially the sternum. It just hangs loose, showing everything. And as you walk towards it and this individual steps out, Luceen-4 goes, good morning, acolytes. It is good to see you. I appreciate you coming so quickly to assist.
Yes.
We have a problem. Come. And as the servitor turns towards you, you hear him kind of snap and go, stop it, you dolt. I don't need to fix you again. The servitor stops tracking you, Roderick. Inside of the data vaults themselves, the room is a massive cathedral. It is stories tall, and you see that his legs are the way they are because there are huge stone pillars carved with the face of the machine god at the halfway and highest points, and the pillars have faint chip marks as if he climbs up them to get to the higher levels faster. The pillars themselves hum, and I'd like all 4 of you to give me a logic investigation check, please.
Not feeling very logical.
Oh boy.
83 over 26.
Okay.
73 over 37.
Okay.
85 over 31.
Okay.
80 over 40.
All right. This is actually really fitting.
Dipshits.
We have nobody with a tech knowledge here, so this is fitting.
Whoa. You didn't say anything about tech. You said logic, straight logic.
Logic investigation, yeah. This is not a tech test. This is a logic test.
You said we had no one here with tech shit, though. That's what I was whoa.
Let me walk that back. We have no one here with an Adeptus Mechanicus background.
Okay.
You hear as you walk past...
I do speak that Ligma Sigma.
Ligma Sigma?
Lingua Technis.
The Lingua Technis.
Not
as
very
you walk
Sigma.
past the pillars, they hum and pulse, almost like you're walking past like a tube TV that's been turned on and left to a gray channel, right? There are massive 6 to 8 inch thick cables snaking across the floor back and forth. And the walls of every wall are cogitator banks, tens of meters tall. The floor itself is stone, a single red runner of carpet that is coated in over an inch of dust minus small pinpricks where the spider-like feet have touched. There are piles upon piles of data slates that are leaning almost like a teetering haphazard lean in between the cogitator banks. The entire space is warm, almost calmingly peaceful warm, but it smells heavily of oils and unguents. And the lighting comes from the glows of hundreds of green screens, coupled with nothing but, Roderick's favorite, huge amounts of candles. There are only a few lumen lamps that light certain areas. Now, the Lexmechanic looks to each of you and says, "We have a problem, as I'm sure you are aware." I can't do his voice. It's supposed to be more raspy, and I don't have it. We have a whatever. We have a problem, as I'm sure you're aware since you've been sent here by Corvus. He asks you to help find why some of the lower level cogitators are continually sending him incorrect data. And he looks to each of you and says, "I have done everything I can to test this." And he points to one bank along the left wall. He says, "These cogitators continue to send false data. I have the correct data," and he holds a data slate in front of him. I said, "I have the correct data from the shipmaster here, and this cogitator keeps telling me the wrong data. I have done every test I can. I have checked all the cables, and I am beyond frustrated, and the captain needs a result. So he said to send you.
No disrespect, sir, but this is kind of your position. This is your thing. You call down 4 people who are not very logical in this regard. What do you expect us to do for you?
I will test the bank here, but I need you to go down. And he points to the side, and you see that there is a door that continues to go down. There's like a stairway that goes down. He says, I need you to actually go down and look into why the data, if the data cables are bad. But more so to your point, why are you helping me? Because the captain says so.
Understood. All I'm trying to imply is I do not have the technical skills to understand this.
He throws his hands up in what appears to be the most human response you might see out of an Adeptus Mechanicus member, and he goes, and obviously I don't know what is wrong either. Perhaps your brains will see something that the machine god himself cannot guide me to see.
I guess my only request here is maybe you can give us some things to look out for, some possibilities that you may not have seen but may suspect.
The data in this cogitator is fed from numerous other decks. Now, this particular cogitator is fed from the munition storage and fuel storage deck. The data that is punched into that cogitator and fed from the storage tanks then feeds to me and runs here. I obviously cannot leave this sacred temple of data. It cannot remain undefended. It cannot remain unguarded. If you can go at least check that, perhaps that will give me some insight if there is a mechanical issue that would require repair.
I too have data slate. I'm gonna move to plug in where he's jacked in.
Okay.
Compare values.
He has his data slate and he shows it to you, and you see that it is a running tally of all of the fuel counts for the engines and the storage tanks.
Okay.
He's not actually plugged into the cogitator. He's reviewing what the cogitator shows versus what the data slate shows. You can attempt to plug in if you wish.
So he said he's got those values that he says are correct directly from the person who is filling in these values?
Correct.
Do I have any idea if cogitators measure the fuel in place, or are they actually just receiving those and passing them along?
It's going to be more the latter. A cogitator is nothing more than an old computer.
Okay, so it's just data entry, retrieve, in, out. Got it.
It is. However, the cogitator can be tied into other machinery that is actually measuring the data to report to the cogitator that then reports to the data vault.
Got it. So it's possible dude's wrong.
It's possible dude is wrong. It's possible a machine is broken. It's possible that there's it's possible that somebody didn't hit a power button somewhere, as all of us who have ever worked with
that's
tech
all
know.
I was trying to do was to see if I was getting the same information that he was.
So his data slate is like a manual log. He's not plugged into the bank itself. You're welcome to plug into the bank and pull the data.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you plug into the bank. What I would like for you to do is give me a tech test, please. It'll be hard -10.
Okay. Am I finding or retrieving documents or archives?
Correct.
I am. Okay, cool.
And Mordecai, what was your question?
I don't know. I'm immediately thinking either.
Remind me on advantage again. Sorry.
Flip the dice if it's in your advantage.
Yep. You keep the same roll, but you make it the best pairing of the two numbers.
Okay. So then that's a +0. That's what I got.
And Mordecai, what was your question?
Oh, I didn't really have a question, more of a statement. I'm thinking either the dude giving the numbers to this guy is skimming and we may have to clap him. Otherwise, I don't know how computer viruses work in this world.
They're bad.
There's some sort of installed computer virus or something that's feeding false data to try to... I guess that's what we're here to figure out. I'm just in my brain trying to conceive.
And before I respond to Dimitri's +0, to Mordecai, to your question, I appreciate you prompting the ask of why you were here. The way that this is feeding, I was trying to find, we're trying to find the right way for it. The way that this works is, in most cases, a tech priest they don't like to, I should have explained this, they don't like to leave their space. They
Sure.
want to be around their tech. He doesn't want to go do the drudgery work of walking through the ship to check the actual...
It's beneath them.
There.
Well, and also when we first got there, though, the way that I understood it was, I've done all the tests, I've looked at everything, and I'm like, well, what the fuck am I going to do for you then, bud?
Yeah,
But
I realized.
get it. He
I realized
hasn't
you
left
weren't.
here to check connections and stuff. I got it.
My brain forgot that you weren't putting those two
Yeah,
nuggets together. That was my bad. So Dmitry,
All good.
plus 0. You hack into the Cogitator. I shouldn't even say hack. You get into the Cogitator, and you actually hear as Luceen-4 behind you goes, My, a man of taste and education. Who taught you the lingua technis? Now, Dmitry, before you answer this, you automatically know this is a trap question because this is forbidden knowledge. The only people who know the lingua technis are the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Tracking. I'm playing dumb as shit. This is not even my data slate.
Okay. You've downloaded the data entirely. His data does not match your data. Your data matches the Cogitator. His data is different from both.
See, you have bad data slate. Your slate, shit. Problem solved. I turn around to walk away.
That's the whole reason we're curious, because his data slate doesn't match it.
I know.
You hear a binaric screech that hurts your ears as he screams in a language that, Dmitry, you understand, but no one else does. He's basically screaming, "You heathenous fuck!" And he's grabbing another data slate, and he goes, "I will prove to you that the data slate is not the problem." And he slams it into the Cogitator. The data downloads, and he holds it up, and he goes, "See?" And his data slate matches your data slate, but not the first data slate. It's not the data slate. It is the data itself.
Meanwhile, Roderick just kind
this
of
why-
wanders off the direction he wanted us to go in the first place.
See, this is why you boss. You're right.
Quinton is following Roger.
He seems less angry. All right. So as you guys head to that door that goes down, below you notice that there's an antechamber, and what it is it's essentially a cable housing. It is a room where cables are snaking in from service corridors that feed into the Cogitators above. It is literally just a huge room of wires. The
This is
bank,
my nightmare, dude.
yeah,
40K
Snakes.
data closet.
snakes on a motherfucking plane.
No, technology. It's like you would do this, you bastard.
Yep.
Season 1, episode 1, Mordecai angered the machine spirits, and it's all full circle. The data bank that you were looking at was only about 4 meters off of the door that you went down, and you come out right below it. You can see the cables that snake up into it. There are no problems with the cables themselves.
Just breathe, Mordecai. This will be over before you know it. You'll be fine. Trust
Quinton's
me.
going to start following the cable to
I'm
wherever
not worried
it goes.
about this. I don't feel comfortable looking for this silly thing for that rude man. We should
You
be
know-
doing more important missions.
I've found if you just smack them a couple times, and I find the nearest thing that's like a mechanical that looks like it could be fonzed, and I just fonz it quick. Like, just smack a bunch of stuff. We might fix it just by being here. It's fun.
There's nothing on this floor to look, but you smack a couple of really thick cables.
Yeah, I kick him. Give him a couple kicks.
I fully commit to the bit with him. Smack him.
Sent a bunch of brutes to get it.
Quinton, you track the cable and you see where it heads off to one of the walls. And this is quite literally a repository room where the cables are fed. It goes to a spot and it actually gets down to a tube that is only slightly larger than the cable itself, which is obviously running to another part of the ship.
Does it say where it's going to in the ship?
It does not say where it is in any language you can read.
I'm going to, in telepathic link, reach out to Mordecai or Roderick and say, hey, get Dmitry over here while they're smacking the cable.
Oh, Dmitry.
And you see
Shout
Dmitry
out.
spin around with the auspex in hand, scanning away.
Well done for remembering that this time. So, Dmitry, you make your way over to Quinton. and you can see that on the cable there is binaric coding that doesn't look like a language to anyone, but if you can read Linguitechnus, what it says is it is lower deck 4 Cogitator cable. So they
lower
are
deck 4 Cogitator. Okay.
They are branded. They do tell you where they go.
So do you guys want to go to lower deck 4 right now? Or
here? Yeah, let's go to lower deck 4.
Okay. It takes you an hour and a half to make your way through the ship.
Dear God.
No wonder the guy didn't want to go.
Ship.
It's a massive ship. Absolutely massive.
Let's quickly scope this out. So the ship that you're on, from tip to tail, is...
What's population?
Hold, please.
That's going to tell me everything I need to know. That's the only reason I'm asking.
What's
Hold,
what?
please.
You weighing moral questions?
Where is he?
It's both. I want to know from a size perspective and how moral it is if something explodes.
So the Inquisitor's ship has a population of 8,000.
Okay. So that's pretty big.
Surprisingly low.
I didn't think...
It's not a massive cruiser. It's got a lot of gun batteries, but it's not... You're not in an Imperial Navy cruiser.
Maybe the elevators are just slow.
That's lack of responsiveness. I would have expected him to be managing way more people.
The big ships are like 50K people.
No, the big ships are millions.
Okay.
Wow.
So 50K is pretty low even.
50K is pretty low. I actually think I grabbed the wrong number. Hang on, I'm looking at the wrong data file.
Oh, so that's 8,000 seems very low.
8,000 is one deck.
Weak as shit.
Maybe it's 8,000 people who
that makes
matter
more sense
in
as
the
8,000
40K universe.
Yeah, right.
True.
8,000 people with a real name.
And we're not one of them.
Yeah.
We collectively aren't one.
Right.
Okay, so 8,000 is a different number. Ignore that entirely.
Nope.
That is a different number that doesn't matter. The cruiser that we showed you all.
Yeah.
Grabbing that file right now. You know, it helped if I saved this in one general spot.
To
It's a
ask a
bright
stumper
picture, man.
question.
Looked like the
It's
sun
not a
just came
stumper. I
out.
just saved the data in the wrong spot.
Ooh,
Okay.
I'm gonna edit this out later anyway. It's fine.
No, we're not. On that note, so the Inquisitorial cruiser that you're on, which is it's a model that has 16 macro cannon batteries, 8 on each side, 2 major gun lances, and everything else. It should have a population of about 250,000.
Okay. I love that you can
was
calculate that when you couldn't find the regular number.
8,000 was a specific number that is pursuant to a different data point in this game. I apologize.
Got it.
Moving
Remember
on.
8,000.
Yeah, as soon as you said 8,000 is low, I'm like reading my notes again. And I go, that's
8,000
not
is real low.
That's not the
So
shit.
quarter mil.
Quarter mil.
Okay.
It's a bit. It's still not one of the biggest ships, but it's a bigger than average Inquisitorial cruiser. It's still a small ship. But
My
moving on.
verisimilitude of my taking an hour and a half to go 4 decks is 100% intact now. I'm good.
So part of why it takes an hour and a half to go multiple decks, I didn't say you went 4 decks. You're going to lower deck 4. The ship from tip to tail is like 4 kilometers long. So that being said, it takes about an hour and a half to make your way down to lower deck 4. And as you enter the deck, what you see is that it is a storage deck. There are munition storage vaults, and there are huge tanks full of fuel. This is purely and simply storage. It does not connect directly to, like, you're not on a deck with gun batteries and ammunition. You're not on a deck with the engines and the fuel. This is purely storage. Now, as you make your way through the deck, you see that the sailors and the members of the ship are giving you a wide berth. There are hundreds of people on this deck. There are huge crates of material being moved. There are munitions being rejacketed and stored in closets or pulled out and inspected. There's a constant commotion of work happening here. The deck itself has a fairly high ceiling. It's about 20 to 25 meters high. But the tanks are large to the point where, like, a fuel tank fills the entire space. The stacks of munition fill the space. There are the equivalent of forklifts driving everywhere, moving things around. And you also see where an entire stretch of the deck is full of crates that could be assumed to be dried foods or other goods. You're not sure. As you make your way across the deck, like I said, the sailors give you wide berth. And you see that there are a small bank of cogitators nearby you. What would you like to do?
I'm going to go to the cogitators, because that's what we're down here to find, right?
Okay. You reach the cogitator.
I fonz it with my
just
fist.
smack it.
Each one of them just dunk, dunk, dunk. Hey!
Every time you smack it, the screen that is a dull, glowing green flickers faintly and then comes back. Nothing happens.
I believe it's oi, right? Oi.
So he wanted us to plug in down here and check.
He said that the data feeds to this cogitator, which then feeds to him.
Okay.
So if we plug into this one, we can see if the issue is between the first and here or here and there.
Yeah, we'll plug in and see what we get.
Okay, give me a -10 hard tech test, please.
You just downloaded. Never mind.
Napster.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Roderick, I just have this image that as Dmitry is doing this, you're still smacking the top of it.
So that's 4 success levels.
Okay.
Don't even get it twisted. When he succeeds at this, I think I did it.
It's like in Zoolander. What do you mean he's in the computer?
Okay. So you said you have 4 success levels to get in?
Yep.
Perfect. So now that you're in, that's a great roll. You log in to the cogitator and you get into the data points. And you see that the data in front of your eyes is actually changing. Now, that's not that surprising because there is a live feed from the fuel tanks coming into this cogitator.
Mm-hmm.
But you're watching as the feed values are feeding in and values below are changing. So where the data is being entered, which would make sense that those values are coming in and adjusting as they come into the system. That makes sense. But you're looking at data points, and as you watch, you see as 4 different data points come in, they settle, and as they reach the bottom of the scroll and more data starts to feed, they change. That doesn't make sense to your brain. Even with your limited understanding of tech. With your roll, and you can read Lingua Technis, you see that the data is changing, and to keep in mind, this data is written in binary. It is written in the machine code. There's a reason why most people can't see it, but you notice that the data is changing. Would you like to try to see why it's changing? Do you want to just record the data? What would you like to do?
I would like to record it, but
Okay.
What was the other option? Like see it change? Like I thought I was already seeing it.
So you're seeing the data change itself, but any cogitator is a computer. You, with your knowledge in Lingua Technis, you know that you can basically backdoor them because you understand a bit of the tech language and try to see if there's coding or other errors that could lead to it.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I'll give that a shot. Just what a
he's
tech
doing
test.
that. Are there like cords coming out of this and wiring and stuff, or
Big fat cables that feed into a pillar that rise. And you would assume that those then feed back to the...
I'm gonna do my part, I guess, and I'm just gonna look at these cords best I can, see if there's any damage to them, if there's any like thing attached to them that looks suspicious in any way.
-10 logic investigation. Dmitry, you download the code
10.
first onto your data slate, and you watch as the data you have from above that did not match Luceen-4's data changes. Like, so you've already changed all your data to match what's coming out of the cogitator now. Mordecai, how'd it go?
That is a 15 under 37, but you said -10.
-10.
So, yeah, +1.
You notice that one of the cables has been sliced, the protective sheathing sliced, almost as if it was pulled open. Dmitry, you begin to backdoor the system and try to get around. And I'm not going to say backdoor because you're not hacking it, but you step away from the data log itself and go to look at the other piece of the cogitator, which is pulling from the units and how the data is being pulled in any upcoming code.
Can
And
I
the data
go ahead?
No?
Can I infer anything more since I am reading all of this and half the time it would take a mere one of these other dudes in my group?
That's the only reason you're getting this part right now. Okay. So as you get to the front end of it, which is where the live data feeds in and it shows you each of the fuel tanks, it shows not an actual image of the gauges, but it's giving you the data of their fill rate. The data comes in binary code, which is then converted into an actual liter or like megaliter, kiloliter, whatever large liter size is of fuel, right? But the code itself that is running along the top is binaric. And you can read lingua technis. So you begin to realize that interspersed within the code that is actually running is a message. The message states death to Halikarn and the false emperor.
That's heretical.
We're finding this dude. Or lady.
Ooh.
Hey, one of you people who is less dumb than me. These cords are not supposed to be sliced, am I right? And I just kind of like, kind of point at the one that's cut.
Dmitry, as he says that, I need a willpower test, please. Challenging. +0.
Right.
Oh boy.
R.I.P. Dmitry.
Brian just
that's
fries.
not that bad. 38. What is my willpower? Not that. 20. Oh no, 32.
So that's not bad. That's better than it could have been. That would give you a -0, so you do fail. You gain a point of corruption.
Oh.
Oh boy.
He's just kind of in the back of his mind. He's like, yeah, false ass emperor.
Yeah, fuck Halikarn. That bitch made me eat corpses. Mordecai is now waving the split wires at you.
So when you say it's sliced, is it just sliced and that's it? Or is it like spliced into something else?
No.
It looks like...
Think of a protective sheathing that has been sliced laterally to allow you to open it to get into the wires themselves.
So if this is the wire, I'm assuming he's cut it this way, up and down.
Like if this is the wire, he would have slit it to peel, or she would have slit it, or someone would have slit it and to peel back to gain access to the actual wires on the inside of the protective coating.
Okay, so it's not cut in half; it's spliced.
No.
Okay, I gotcha. Just wanted to be clear.
Yep. But you can totally still rip it out and whip it around.
Yes, somebody stick their fingers in here. See if they've put some sort of device. I don't know shit about this stuff.
Hey, tech boy, you want to take a look?
Yeah, tech
I'm
somebody.
Busy. And what? So what? Hold up a second. So I just got nailed with corruption.
What? You got a point of corruption.
Besides a number 1 existing on my sheet, what does that do to the character?
Nothing yet.
What
nothing
happens?
yet.
Anything?
Nothing yet. But you know what?
Do
That's
I feel
a
little
thing.
tingle?
Let's talk.
Do I feel a little shame?
Corruption.
You see that number 1 every time you log on.
You probably
tell
feel
me.
good if it's corruption.
It might feel good. Depends on how you. So you tell me what you take when you take corruption. How do you feel? What's it do to you? What is it? Does it make you feel a little shame? Do you feel a little angry, a little dirty?
For sure, a little dirty.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm all right with it, I guess.
Does this work a little bit like
Slanish.
WFRP, where we get a mutation later if we get too much corruption?
Correct. So corruption will eventually express itself as either a mutation or a malignancy. Mutation is physical, malignancy is mental. The way you get there is if your level of corruption ever exceeds a certain value. Let's see if Eric might know this off the top of his head. I'm looking right now.
I think it's 6.
It's equal to
me. Anyway.
There it is. It's equal to
You'll
your
find
willpower
out what it's
bonus.
equal to on the next episode.
It's equal to your willpower plus toughness bonus. So if your willpower and toughness are 7, if you ever exceed that, not tie it, exceed it, you risk the mutation. And that comes when I decide to tell you that you take a specific fortitude, physical, or discipline mental test. If you pass, you hold off. If you don't, find out next time. But, Dmitry, as you take this data from the Cogitator, as you find the code, as you feel the corruption seep into your body, you'll have to tell us how you feel next time on the Tainted Hive, Children of Rokarth.
How do you feel?
How does Dmitry feel about
15-minute perception bonus afterwards, right?
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you head over to deadsonsco.com to check out our website, get access to all our socials, find everything out there. Also, again, thank you to our show sponsor for this season, PrimetimeMagic.com. Head over to their website, check out their wide variety of Magic singles. If you're a Magic player, it's a great place to go. Mordecai, I'm going to make sure your wife does not give you access to this website. We're going to child-proof you from it.
Too late.
Oh, no. Well, make sure you go show them some love for showing us some love. And as always, thank you so much. If you want to support us, feel free to head over to patreon.com/deadsonscompany and show us a little love over there. And we will see you for the next episode of Children of Rokarth.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ta-ta-ta.